Looking for the best in authentic Maltese cuisine? Then you need to dine at Georgie's on Vista. Situated in the heart of Fraser Eyes, you can't go wrong when it comes to family dining. We have a menu for mum and dad, one for the kids, and one for seniors. Everyone's taken care of. Don't miss our specialty nights. Tuesday night is Parma night, where you get to choose from not one, but 5 different Parmas. Wednesday night, kids eat free with every paying adult meal. Thursday night is Members Night, where members get the chance to win some great prizes. And Friday night, join us for happy hour between 5:30pm to 7:30pm. Jim, Johnny, Jack and their little brother Schooner are only $5 each. Looking to get an early start Friday afternoon for a punt? Our sports bar with TAB is open from 3pm Friday afternoons. To book your table, email info@georgiesonvista.com.au. Bring the family and come dine at Georgie's on Vista, 46 City Vista Court, Fraser Eyes, Plumpton. Guzman Finance, Point Cook's professional and trusted mortgage broker. Using the latest technology powered by Australian Finance Group, their lender panel has over 30 institutions, including the major banks. Andreas, the director at Guzman Finance, is an ethical and experienced mortgage broker and has helped hundreds of customers navigate the competitive and ever-changing mortgage landscape to find the right loan for them. The company's values are grounded in the principles of integrity and reliability. For you, this means ethical, responsible lending from a family business you can trust. Whether you're in the market for your first home, refinancing, renovating, or buying an investment property, they have access to hundreds of loans from a host of Australia's leading lenders. Guzman Finance will do the hard work for you to make sure you get the right loan for your circumstances. They manage the process from start to finish. Contact Andreas on 0425 826 055 or visit their website at guzmanfinance.smartonline.com.au.
Good evening and a very, very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us on tonight's show. It is going to be an absolute doozy of a show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you this right now. My name is Tonchi Prusak. I'm your co-host, one of the co-hosts, and joining me in the studio tonight, or in his own little studio, is Steve Curtin, my sparring partner or partner in crime, however you like, from the Geelong Region Soccer Show, which, Steve, welcome to you first of all tonight. You're off the substitutes bench replacing Craig Filer.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Backed by popular demand, I guess, and hopefully we can make a high impact substitution tonight. Pretty much like the content of our show is going to be a very high impact show, as we were discussing just before going to air, Tonchi. So very, very excited. And if anyone's seen a Clark Griswold lookalike down around Aries Inlet or somewhere like that, that's our man, Craig Filer. Just give him a bit of space if you need, if, not sure about approaching him, but he'll be back next week, no doubt.
Absolutely. It is episode 49 or season 3, episode 3. Boy, whatever. Well, as we mentioned, we've got a jam-packed show tonight. We've got some great guests, and it's just full on tonight. NPL season starts again. Old habits die hard. NPL season starts tonight, Steve. There's A-League, there's FFA Cup action. We'll be talking a lot about that later on in the week. But, mate, how have you been? Are you excited about the upcoming NPL season kicking off this weekend?
Yeah, well, the excitement is quite palpable, and it has been for some days in the lead up to this return of the NPL Victoria competition, which will be starting tonight with a couple of fixtures kicking off across Melbourne and continuing on through until Sunday evening. The excitement has been enormous, obviously, because there's been no football at NPL Victoria level for 11 months, and it is such a well-loved competition all across Melbourne and beyond, and even outside of Australia. There's still people who follow these these teams like Melbourne Knights, obviously, who are playing tonight. Obviously, teams with the big international following, and absolute juggernauts of past and the present. So, and obviously that match day experience that you get as well is something else that you just can't find at the top flight at the A-League competition. So these are all reasons why, and people are very, very excited, and hopefully the action on the field and the atmosphere at the stadiums lives up to the hype. And we can't wait.
I'm sure it will. And tonight's show is proudly brought to you by Guzman Finance, our episode sponsor for episode 49. A bit of a mouthful there. 0425 826 055 is the number for Guzman Finance. Now, there's a great time to refinance your mortgages or to get into the housing market, especially if you're wanting to move to semi. And thank you to our major 2001 season sponsor, George Cross Football Club, home of the Georgies on Vista Bistro. We hope to have some big news regarding George Cross in the next couple of days. But next week, big show, episode 50. It is our, what do they call it? The episode 50 Silver Jubilee, I think it is, or something like that. That's going to be fantastic. We can't wait for that. But before we get to that, Steve, some big guests tonight. Last minute call up. The president of the Surfside Waves Soccer Club, Mike Sutton. Now, Geelong Region Soccer Show folk know who the Surfside Waves are. But very, very quickly, tell us about Surfside Waves, Steve, and why are they significant?
Yeah, well, they've been a strong club, a strong community club in the Geelong competition for many years now, and this year they're making the foray into the state leagues, and they're stepping into State League 5 West, which will begin mid-March. But also they debuted last week in the qualifying round of the FFA Cup. They got the win, and they're going to back up again tomorrow. So they're going to be appearing in the first round of the FFA Cup Victorian section against Watsonia Heights on the road tomorrow. So we wish them luck tomorrow. We're going to be speaking to Mike very soon.
Yeah, and apart from that, we've also got the St. Albans Saints football operations manager, Jason Zeri. He'll be coming to us live from the Churchill Reserve club rooms there. That'll be part of our special NPL Victoria season preview tonight. It'll be interesting because, Steve, you are actually commentating Sunday's big Western Suburbs derby between the Saints and Green Gully at Churchill Reserve. So we'll be hearing from Jason Zeri. And then last but certainly not least, we've got another live cross later this evening, around about 7 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. And for a little bit of star power, we'll be crossing over to JL Murphy Reserve. And who will we be talking to, Steve?
Yeah, we're going to be speaking to reality TV superstar and NPL Victoria commentator Bryce Ruthven, who's going to be joining us live from JL Murphy, ahead of that match between Port Melbourne Sharks and the Melbourne Knights, which will kick off the NPL Victoria season proper at about 7:45 tonight. That will kick off. We'll be speaking to him around 7-ish.
Yeah, we'll be definitely off air by the time that game rolls around. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stick around right to the very, very end, and then straight after that, grab yourself something to drink, order a takeaway, because Friday night football is back. I'm excited. I've got goosebumps. I'm sure everyone else out there has, and we're going to get into it straight away. Right now, Steve, I'm going to let you get away for a very, very short moment, because you're going to prepare the news desk. And when we return, it's going to be the news desk. So don't go away, folks. We're going to be, first of all, it's going to be all about the news. And then second of all, it's going to be all of our special guests tonight.
All right, good evening. It's Friday, the 26th of February, and we'll start tonight with the Region's A-League club, Western United, who have announced on Wednesday that the club will make a foray into Tasmania, playing 2 home fixtures at York Park, Launceston, each of this season and next season in the A-League competition. Western United CEO Chris Palavana said, in relation to the announcement, we were presented with an opportunity to work with the Tasmanian government and Football Tasmania to not only showcase Western United's brand of football, but to bring the A-League to the state. We are excited to make Tasmania green and black. And Western United members will be offered access to 2 away games in Victoria, 1 against Victoria, 1 against City, as replacement games if you can't get down to Launceston. But a beautiful part of the world to go and visit, not too far away. One of the shortest flights you can do, actually, Melbourne to Lonnie. I did that a couple of years ago, and you don't even get time to open your book and you're coming down again. So there you go there, shifting down there. Any thoughts on that one, Tonch?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether or not this means that the, say, the Tasmanian state government, for example, will now kind of change its tune as far as backing and supporting a standalone Tasmanian club side. There has been a lot of talk in the media in recent times about the AFL once again turning its back on Tasmania. And mate, I tell you what, here's an opportunity, a golden opportunity for football to get ahead of the AFL and push Tasmania United, or whatever the working name of this club is. So it will be interesting to see, and it's great to see Western United doing what they're doing. But I just want them, I'd like them to focus more on the West and really focusing on, getting what's the word? Focusing more on, the local area and promoting it here. And, don't worry about Tasmania. But it is a good thing, having said that.
And also Calder United, the NPLW juggernaut, they who've teamed up with Western United, they'll be travelling down there as well to play a match against a Tasmanian women's representative team, as well as part of one of those games as a curtain raiser. All right, well,
that's the thing, isn't that? Very quickly, like Western United have been doing that quite a fair bit. Calder United have played, I think, in some curtain raisers at the GMHBA Stadium, or was it at Ballarat? I'm not too sure, but that's great to see some of that local collaboration. We need more of that. What else is happening, Steve? Something big down Hoppers Crossing way?
Hello, are we still going?
Yeah, we are.
Still on the air. Good. Okay. All right. Well, let's move along now. And at Hoppers Crossing Soccer Club's Grange Reserve, the venue's new floodlights on pitch number 1 were unveiled by MP Sarah Connolly and councillors of the Wyndham City Council this week. And this paves the way for the club to host its first night game in round 1 of the season. Hoppers Crossing will play Westgate FC on Saturday, March 20th, 7 p.m. at the Grange Reserve. And the club also unveiled a pretty slick-looking 50th year anniversary kit during the week, which they will no doubt be donning on that occasion. So expect a big crowd at the Grange Reserve for that particular fixture on March 20th.
Absolutely. Okay. Great to see not just a Grange Reserve, but there's a lot of venues around the western suburbs getting improvements, getting lighting, getting undercover grandstand areas or what you're not. So we need more of that. We've talked about how we really need the grounds, the facilities to improve. I think Melton Phoenix is another one. They're having a goodbye to their club rooms. I think on the weekend when they have the FFA Cup game, and they're going to undergo a major off-field transformation. So some really, really good things happening, Steve.
Absolutely right. And speaking of good things, some grant funding news as reported today on Football Nation Radio's news page. In good news on the eve of the resumption of football in the state, clubs from grassroots right up to NPL level will be eligible for grants of up to $5,000 from the state government's Sporting Club Grants program to help recover from a difficult COVID-affected 2020 that saw seasons cancelled across the board. And asked for comment, North Geelong Warriors President John Didalitza said the grant opportunity from the Victorian government allows clubs to access funding and specific expertise that they can help future-proof their clubs and give them a real plan for the future, one that goes beyond the committee for that given year, and applications close for that one on March 18th, and we can drop the link to apply for that one in the show comments there as well, if you like, for later on. So yeah, that article penned there by the main man from Football Nation Radio, Josh Parrish, was a good one to read today, Tonch.
Yeah, absolutely. Mindful of the time, we're getting along. We've got Mike Sutton, who's going to be joining us very, very shortly, the Surfside Waves president. But before that happens, Steve, any other news?
Just quickly, the PFA has released a statement supporting players in the light of recent increases in attacks on both A-League and W-League players on social media. Co-chief executives Bo Bush and Catherine Gill outlined the need for players to take a stand against personal threats and stated their aims for the sport to be used as a force for good by addressing such matters. And we've seen that statement released just yesterday there, and it comes after some pretty shocking stuff was revealed that Stefan Mork had received after his Friday night game last week. Pretty awful stuff. So it's good to see the PFA taking a stand there, because no one should go to their place of work and experience such abuse just by going about their business in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, mate, we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we return, we're going to have Mike Sutton on the phone joining us.
CMF Soccer Coaching offers tailor-made personal and small group development coaching throughout the western suburbs of Melbourne and Greater Geelong. With over 20 years of experience working and playing within the academy systems of several professional clubs in both the UK and Australia, CMF Soccer Coaching has a player-first philosophy to ensure that all sessions are tailored around the individual's needs at all times. Under the guidance of UEFA and AFC qualified coaches, we specialise in one-on-one and small group coaching sessions, offering European-style academy-level training with the sole aim of improving players' technical and game understanding in a safe, friendly environment. If you are new to the game or a seasoned campaigner looking for some additional coaching, then we can help. To find out more about what we can offer and how we can help you improve your game, visit our Facebook or Instagram pages for more information, or simply email us at cmfsoccercoaching@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Football Out West show. It's episode 49, and on the line we've got the man, the legend, from down Ocean Grove Way. He's the president of the Surfside Waves Soccer Club, Mike Sutton. Mike, welcome to the Football Out West show.
Mate, thank you so much. I would love to get that introduction everywhere I go.
We've got Steve Curtin as well, and I think the last time we got together, it was for the Geelong Region Soccer Show, but now we're expanding. We're ready to conquer the world, and so too are the Surfside Waves, because we're now on Football Out West show. Mike, tell us a little bit about, for those people that don't know too much about the Surfside Waves Soccer Club, tell us a bit about your club. And obviously the significance is that this year the Waves will be making their debut in State League 5 in the Western Division. So there'll be quite a fair few trips down the Princess Highway to Western suburban clubs. Over to you, mate.
Yeah, mate, thanks, mate. Look, we're a club that's been, we're established in 96, and as a real community club, you know, renting facilities, playing out of, shipping containers as our so-called kiosk and office and storage facilities, and in the heartland of, cricket and AFL and surfing, and have really built up a great connection with our community over that time and become known as a club. You can come and you can have a great time. You can develop your skills, and we're increasing that every time. We've had a great development program over this summer, and that's going to continue into the future. So we're really combining that great community outlet where players of any skill, age, etc. can come, and now we're heading into more of an elite focus at the other end as well.
Okay, Mike, the club, as you said, has definitely come a long way. I remember playing a bit of Sunday League down there, going back nearly 15 years ago, and it was certainly a different scenario then. It was playing on a Australian rules ground that wasn't in the best nick at the time, and getting changed about 200 metres away in a different room, and it was very different times to the way the the club's all set up now. Now, last week, the club kicked off its FFA Cup campaign with a 4-1 win over Endeavour Hills Fire. Really great start and really encouraging for the squad, I suppose, leading into what will be a tough season for the first time in State League 5 West.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a big step up for our club going into State League, and of course with that comes the FFA Cup. And credit to the guys and our coaching staff that we were ready for last Saturday. Obviously, everyone's missed out on competitive football for a long time. Tough game, and credit to the way they played. And our guys have been training when permitted 3 times a week, since last January without fail, apart from lockdown and that sort of stuff. So, they've come out with a really attacking style, aggressive style. So, brilliant.
Now, Mike, tomorrow you've got a big clash. Speaking of tough clashes, Watsonia Heights, which is in State League 4 in the Northern Division. Do we know much about the Watsonia Heights team? Do we know who their danger players are? And will Coach Pablo Mujica, focus on anyone in particular, or just worry about going out there and having a really good experience?
Yeah, look, we know they're obviously a quality club. The communication with them through the week has been, second to none, and very welcoming, and there's a few things going on tomorrow there. But look, we just focused on ourselves, mate. What we do is our boys play the way they play. They've got a great game plan, and they're refining that all the time. And we'll just go out and play the way we play and focus on that.
Brilliant.
Very good. And Mike, will you be able to travel up to the game yourself? I see you've drawn a lengthy away trip for the second week in a row.
Yeah, we have. I'll be there. I've taken a bit of my family and a few mates, and we've got a bus going with the guys, so they'll all be, get the armchair ride up there on the waters, and hopefully have a couple of light beers on the way back with the club song if we're lucky and if things go away. If not, a great experience and relaxing on the way back.
Now, Mike, apart from the fact that obviously, now a trip for a lot of Western suburban clubs will be on the cards to Ocean Grove this year to take on the Waves in State 5. And they could probably make a weekend of it away, speaking of minibuses and whatnot. But what can some of those clubs expect from the Waves in season 2021? And it's virtually a Geelong division with Deakin, Bowen and Lara United also in the same comp. When are you expecting to play games? Not any night matches on Saturdays, Friday nights? Tell us what the plans are for 2021 down at Shell Road Reserve.
Yeah, look, the plans are to be, number one, a very welcoming host when players and teams come to us. We've got some great facilities and some great ideas on how we can do that. And so you're going to get an excellent and an awesome environment when you get here. We hope to put on a great performance game-wise. And, of course, they can come and stay in the many wonderful places down Ocean Grove and the Surf Coast Way. But you're right, there's a lot of local teams. And, you can expect a fierce local crowd. For sure, with the community behind us, and a great attacking playing style. But we got to just come in as the new guys and keep humble, keep our heads down, and work hard, mate. To be honest.
Awesome. Mike, thank you very much for joining us last minute too, mind you. We tried to get someone else on, they couldn't make it. So thank you very, very much for jumping in at the last moment. But it's a great opportunity for our viewers, particularly from the western suburbs, to really get to know who one of the new clubs in the State League 5 competition is, and that is the Surfside Waves. So, mate, wishing you all the best, not just tomorrow, but for season 2021.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it, and good luck to everyone this weekend in your soccer journey.
Good on you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike Sutton, president of the Surfside Waves Soccer Club. A real gentleman, isn't he, Steve?
Yeah, good guy. Always very generous with his time in the past, and tonight even at very short notice. So, hopefully his side can. Oh,
Steve's frozen there for a little bit, so we're going to quickly move on. Folks,
round season in State League 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to take a very, very quick break. When we return, it's all about the NPL preview. And don't go away, folks. We'll be back very, very shortly.
Guzman Finance. Point Cook's Guzman Finance. A26055 or visit their website at guzmanfinance.smartonline.com.
Welcome back to the Football Out West show. Steve, we're now going to be talking about the NPL season ahead. It should be an absolute cracker, so we can't wait for that. Mate, where do we start? Let's start with the games that are happening tonight, and then we're going to bring our special guest on in a few minutes' time. But let's quickly talk about some of the fixtures that are happening tonight. Well, if we've got, I'll bring it up while we're speaking.
Very good. So, yeah, 7:45 tonight at JL Murphy Reserve there in Port Melbourne. It's one of the boutique football venues of NPL Victoria, I'd say. Greek club that does a pretty good souvlaki with chips inside, so it's worth getting down there and checking it out at that ground. They're playing the Knights, Melbourne Knights, that game 7:45. And then a little later this evening in the kickoff times, we've got a big derby down on the other side of Melbourne in the southeast. Dandenong Thunder are hosting Dandenong City. So that's going to be a massive occasion for all involved there as those two local rivals go head-to-head to kick off the first day of NPL Victoria. Then we move into the games on Saturday. Eastern Lions hosting Bentley Greens in the old traditional 3 o'clock kickoff. That game at Gardeners Creek Reserve, 3:15. It's Avondale and the Oakley Cannons at Avenger Park, a ground that's seen a lot of investment. Another ground would be pretty keen to check out. Actually, Gardeners Creek Reserves apparently had a lot of upgrades done to it too to get it up to that NPL 1 standard. So that might be another venue to get to, even though it's not in the West. ABD Stadium tomorrow night hosting Hume City and Altona. Altona's been a big spending club in the off-season after they didn't set the world on fire in their 5 games in the abandoned 2020 season. So looking forward to seeing how they go against Hume City, who no longer have their linchpin in midfield in Steve Hewitt. On Sunday, looking forward to St Albans and Green Gully, that game at 5 o'clock at Churchill Reserve. And unfortunately, Olympic Village's upgrades didn't quite get completed in time. Still a couple of final touches to go. So Heidelberg United will host their home game against South Melbourne in that big Creek derby. That'll be at Jack Edwards Reserve, home of the Oakley Cannons. That's at 6 o'clock on Sunday to round out a massive bumper round 1 of NPL Victoria that returns after 11 months of waiting.
Yeah, look, there's some absolutely fantastic games that are going to really, kick proceedings off. The Knights have signed some incredible players, international stars. So it'll be interesting to see how they go tonight. But we'll allow Bryce Ruthven to talk more about that. The big Dandenong Derby doesn't get much bigger than that in the southeastern suburbs. That also tonight. For me, one of the big games is going to be Altona Magic and Hume City. John Markovsky, the Altona Magic coach, has gone out on a recruiting spree. Hume City, well, they were just unbeatable last year until COVID set in. And then on Sunday, well, does it get any bigger? You've got the big Western Suburbs Derby. We'll find out more about St Albans Saints and the Green Gully game shortly, very, very shortly. We've got the St Albans Saints football operations manager, Jason Zeri. He's in the green room ready to come on very shortly. But before that, we'll just finish it up with the final game, the Greek derby, the traditional Greek derby between Heidelberg and South Melbourne. In days gone by, that would have attracted crowds of 10,000 plus, and I guess now in this COVID era and what you're not, it certainly won't be nowhere near that. But nonetheless, it's going to be an absolute mouth-watering is not the word, Steve. It's just going to be absolutely it's a sensational start to the season. And with news today that the restrictions are further being eased as of 11:59 p.m. tonight, it's just going to be jumping out of our skin. We're just jumping out of our skin. Another man who's jumping out of his skin is no doubt, well, he's probably gone a little bit grey, I think. Speaking to him during the week is our next guest, and that's the St Albans Saints football director, Jason Xerri, who joins us. He was kind enough to join us. He's got a big meeting later on tonight, but he's been able to join us, and he's on the line now, or he's here now. Jason, can we hear you, mate?
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Fantastic and nice and loud, and your head is covering the whole screen. So
it's a pretty big head, mate.
Yeah.
I'm having to do this with my phone, so that's why the screen.
Yeah, no, that's right. No, you absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us, Jason. Mate, we've talked about the effects that COVID has had on a few clubs. For Eastern Lions, Altona Magic, it was probably a breath of fresh air that they were locked down last year. They weren't going too well. But on the flip side, a club that was doing really well in its first year of promotion and that has really felt the full effects of COVID is St Albans Saints, unfortunately. Mate, how are things tracking at Churchill Reserve?
Yeah, look, obviously, we're only a few days away from kickoff. Obviously, we're ready to go for the weekend as best as we can be. It's been a pretty challenging, 14 weeks, to say the least, with regards to some of the activity that's gone on in pre-season. It's probably surprised us to a degree with some of the things that have happened or unfolded throughout the last 12 to 14 weeks. So, yeah, let's say it's been a very challenging, pre-season this year. But nevertheless, as always, we do our best to get it all together. And we're looking forward to the weekend.
Steve?
Now, Jason, you've got Krini Razov back as the head coach again this season. How's his squad shaping up, and what sort of football can we expect from the Saints in the early part of this season?
Look, I think we're pretty much going to be, starting where we left off from last year. Again, we're always going to be a side that tries to play football and tries to play an attacking form of football, as we saw last year. So that really hasn't changed too much. That the game plan and the way we do things is pretty much the same. Obviously, we've had a pretty big change in personnel, so obviously there's a few little tweaks that have to be done there to counter that. But overall, it's pretty much the same as last year, really, as far as the way we go into games and we prepare, and we respect. We respect all our opposition, and obviously you have to tailor your match plan according to who you're going to play.
Yeah, Jason, look, St Albans have been renowned as a club that has really given its younger players a chance, and it has a very, very good junior youth setup, all the way down from the mini-roos right up until seniors. And I guess one of the positives that we're seeing all across the football landscape is that a lot of young players are being given the chance. Is that the case down at Dynamo? Can we expect some of the talented under-19 and under-21s to graduate to senior football? And
yeah, look, certainly. I mean, we've given an opportunity for the likes of young Jason Xerri, who did really well last year in the under-21s. He's on our senior list now, and not just to be on the list, but he's part of that senior squad, and has been from day one. Young Anthony Sesto, goalkeeper, who's stepped up now, and he's been given an opportunity to step up into the senior ranks as well.
Yeah.
And there's probably a couple more in the under-20s that will see some football quite early this year. Young Nathan Liberto is another one who will see some senior football nice and early this year. So certainly, and again, the 21s have had a great opportunity in working with the seniors this year and played and featured in a fair few of our practice matches this year as well, the senior practice matches. So, yeah, certainly they've been given a probably, been fast tracked, which gives them a greater opportunity to show their talents with our senior squad. And I think it's just a given this year that most clubs are going to have to sort of rely on those younger kids as well.
Yeah.
And Jason, I was able to get down and see the boys get the win over South Melbourne last Sunday down at Churchill Reserve, which was good. And it's good to see the upgrades that have gone on with the roofing over the seating, some upgrades there in the Vukovar bar and the car parking, and the juniors pitch that they were playing on looks like it's in excellent condition too. All of these things, they can only help you attract more good quality players in the years to come.
Look, certainly, and I think it's a credit to the board and the committee who have worked tirelessly, and the volunteers to get all of this happening as far as the off the pitch items go, and they continue to work with council and there's some major plans and works that are in the pipeworks at the moment, which we'll see come into fruition over the next couple of years. We've got some new portable change rooms that are being renovated now for the next couple of months. They'll be ready as well, so it'll give us more change rooms as well. So yeah, look, the work continues, and as you said, I mean, it's always nice to come. I mean, I've been here for 7 years now, and to sort of come and see things gradually improving every year. We've got lights now, so we can actually play night games as well if we needed to. So yeah, certainly as far as the facilities go, and that helping attract players, it definitely does help.
Yeah, mate, it's great to see the transformation off the field, the transformation on the field as well. But I guess the big transformation that is going to happen over the next few years is the talk of a national second division. Now, obviously, St Albans Saints, a Croatian community-backed club, have got a very good connection with clubs like Melbourne Knights, North Geelong, Dandenong City, etc., etc. Has there been much talk, whether it be amongst those clubs or whether it be with other clubs in the western suburbs, to start creating some sort of tangible pathways between the clubs where, maybe some of the talented St Albans players can start eyeing that national second division, and likewise other players from around the region starting to step into that vacuum being created by the departure of such players?
Look, I think the general consensus is that it's something that needs to happen. I'd probably say, as much as it's exciting, and there's definitely talk around it. The depth of those talks are obviously questionable in regards to this current climate. It's sort of one of those things. It's fantastic that it's happening, but at the same time, I think a lot of clubs are quite focused on trying to deal with COVID and the effects that COVID's had on the clubs. So it's probably taken a little bit away from all those exciting things and all those things that need to happen, again, with, like you just mentioned, pathways and so forth. So I do definitely think, those things are, going to be talked about in a little bit more depth, probably a little bit down the track.
Yeah.
But, apart from the fact that it's been mentioned and yes, there's some talk around it, but how far those talks have gone and with whom, different clubs and so forth is obviously yet to be, I think, probably cleared up, I suppose. I know we definitely from our end, it's about getting our own backyard organised and making sure we've created a pathway. But certainly, once there's a bit more traction and we know exactly what's happened with that second division, where that may go, and how we can help players progress their football. I mean, that's probably going to be a conversation had closer to the actual league starting and so forth. But look, from our club's point of view, we're definitely always trying to give every player that's here their opportunity to play at the highest level, and if that means that they depart us and go on to bigger and better things, we'll help them along. I mean, Nicholas Milanovic obviously spent only 5 games with us last year in the NPL, and he's gone, moved to Western United, and he's actually got some game time this year, which is fantastic to see. Yeah. And look, we'll continue to harness that progress with players, whether it be with the second division coming across or whether it be the A-League on its own as it stands. But no, we're all for that and helping the kids go through. And if we can, obviously, once it all settles down, align ourselves with someone and have that sort of pathway, we'll definitely take it into consideration.
Brilliant.
Now, your role, Jason, as football operations manager at St Albans, are you able to expand a bit about the scope of what your duties that you perform? And also, are you involved yourself in the signing of players? And if so, are you able to give us any indication of any players that the club might have brought in the off season to make up for any losses, such as I believe Oliver Bassett is not back this season?
Yeah, so look, my role covers various things. Obviously, the daily operations of the football department. My umbrella covers the senior men's team, under 21s, under 19s, senior women's and reserves women. So that's my area. And all of those areas, part of my role is to obviously, apart from the actual logistics of things and operational daily admin things that need to happen, there's always recruitment's part of that as well. So myself and Crini work closely together, along with Juliana, our assistant, and again with the 20s and 21s coach, 19s coaches, and the women's coaches as well, where we can help there, and I can assist them with anything. Predominantly, obviously, it's usually the senior element of it and the 21s that I have a little bit more, in regards to sort of recruitment and so forth. So that's sort of a little bit about what that element of my role involves. But there's obviously, we're a club that, we've got conservative with our resources, and we all pitch in and do little things. I'm technically the kit manager, mate. I'm the football operations manager. I'm the team manager. So there's a few different roles that I do, and happy to do them because that's who we are as a club, and we all pitch in to do those extras to get the place going. But as far as recruitment goes, yeah, look, definitely I've had a big part again with myself and Crini as far as the senior element goes. We've had a fair few losses this year. We've had 11 players from our 21-man list, and unfortunately, we've lost. So we've only really left with 10 players from last year. So we've had to recruit over this last 12 weeks. And yeah, look, it's been, to be fair, it's been probably for me, being involved in this senior kind of environment for the last 16 years and an NPL and VPL level, probably been the most challenging, to be honest.
Mate, speaking of challenges and speaking of lots of roles and juggling lots of roles, you've got a very important players meeting now happening with the coach as well in the dressing room. So we'll let you go, but thank you very much for joining us. All the very best for Sunday. Steve will be calling that, so I'm sure we'll know all about it. But all the very best, Jason, not just for Sunday, but for the rest of the season as well. Great. And thank you for always coming on the show anytime you needed.
No, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Thank
Jason.
you very
Good
much.
luck, mate.
Take care. Bye.
Jason Zeri, he's this football operations manager there at St Albans Dynamo. And as we mentioned, Steve, you'll be calling that game on Sunday. Who are you calling that with? Who's your co-commentator?
Yeah, I'll be calling that one alongside Katie Lambeski, and I had the pleasure of working with Katie before, and she's a great commentator. And look forward to getting down there and being at a live game in the NPL for the first time in so long. And I think it's my first time calling a game actually at St Albans, so it should be a tremendous experience against the local rivals. They're only a couple of kilometres apart, Green Gully and St Albans, and there's even been a bit of movement between the clubs too, with Anthony Polyak, who actually scored against Green Gully for St Albans last season. Here we are now donning the green and white of Green Gully. So
there you go.
Yeah, interesting times there between the two local rivals. I'm
sure it'll have a capacity crowd, or whatever the capacity is. I'm not too sure it's 25% or 50% these days. But and that's the other thing, that clubs really have that difficulty of having to enforce COVID rules or whatever the case may be. But look, bottom line is we're so excited about the football coming back. So that we cannot wait for tonight to roll around. In a little bit over a 15 minutes time, so in a little over a quarter of an hour, we'll be joined by Bryce
Bryce Ruthven. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. The word just wouldn't come out there. Brenton Ray says it's 50% capacity at Churchill Reserve for Sunday, meaning about 1,750. I'm sure we won't get 1,750, but then again, you never know. We'll come down close to it. Mate, let's turn our attention back to the FFA Cup. So we'll go through lot of games. So we'll go through very quickly. The first, there are 4 byes there. Tell us about those teams progressing through to the next round.
Laverton, Lilydale, Montrose, Brunswick, Juventus, and Mount Waverley City. They were all fortunate enough to get a free pass through to the next round. Some of the fixtures coming up. So that list there, that's the I think that was for the draw on Monday. So I've got the fixture here. Some of the fixtures that involve teams from the West coming up tomorrow. Moonee Valley Knights hosting Latrobe Uni. Deakin University, they're hosting the boys from Tatura. So a bit of a road trip down from up Shep Way down to Warn Ponds tomorrow. Springvale City hosting Gisborne. So Gisborne are making the trip across the city. Melton, they are hosting Croydon City after they had the win last week, Melton Phoenix over Wyndham United. Melbourne City, the Spotswood version, they're hosting East Q. Golden Plains, they're on the road to Noble Park. Keilor Wolves on the road to Pakenham United. And Lara United, they're going to be hosting Waverley Wanderers. Barwon Soccer Club, who were doing so well in this competition last year when it came to a grinding halt, they're on the road playing Noble Park United. As we said earlier, Surfside Waves, they're off to Watsonia. Maidstone United, they are hosting Lindale, and Balmoral FC hosting Melbourne Uni. That's a bit of a wrap of the Western region clubs. Also to note, Surf Coast, they've been granted a forfeit win over Spring Hills, as have Bell Park over Falcons 2000. So they were 2 of the 5 forfeit results that I observed in the fixtures today. So there's a few games that won't actually be going ahead, and other teams will be getting a free pass into what will be officially known as the second round of the FFA Cup. And Brenton Ray's reliably told us that the draw for that one will take place at, I think, 12 o'clock on Monday.
12 o'clock on Monday, indeed. Yeah, big shout out to Guzman Finance, 0425 826 055. They are tonight's episode sponsor, and indeed our 2021 season major sponsor, the George Cross Football Club. George Cross will be entering the FFA Cup competition a little later on in a few weeks' time. But that should be absolutely fantastic. It's good to see the football back in town. Barwon Soccer Club, you mentioned, they had, I think, 5 games, if I'm not mistaken. I think they ended up getting to the point that they were one of 2 last remaining Geelong clubs in the FFA Cup. They'd even outdone clubs like, I think it was State 1 Corio, and even NPL 2's North Geelong. I think they managed to get right to the 5th round or 6th round. So they had a big season last year.
Yeah, undefeated in the FFA Cup.
Undefeated, and they were odds-on favourite to take out the State 5 title. But Coach Dale Harris, I'm sure, will be very, very keen for to repeat that feat and go one step better and be able to Waves president Mike Sutton, and I think State League 5 West Division is going to be a very, very exciting division, exciting competition this year. Mate, let's turn our attention now to the NPL Junior Boys. It's round 5 action, and there we'll go through some of the games being played. So this is the under-13s that we have on the screen, but obviously, Steve, in this early qualifying phase, all the under-14s, 15s, 16s, and 17s play each other in a carnival-style atmosphere before they're split off into before they're split off into the top 3, the next 3, the 3 after that, and the bottom 3, so to speak. Yeah. But St Albans Saints at home to Avondale FC. Caroline Springs George Cross at home to Werribee City. Ballarat City play host to Geelong Soccer Club. And then further on, we've got Bendigo City playing host to the Melbourne Knights. Green Gully at home to Brimbank Stallions. And then finally, Altona Magic taking on North Geelong Warriors. North Geelong Warriors are doing exceptionally well after just 2 rounds of games played. Remembering, I think rounds 2 and 3 were actually that happened, or they were scheduled during the lockdown, so they will be replayed at a later date. But North Geelong Warriors, Steve, in under 14s, 15s, 16s, and 17s are either outright first or equal first. So they've started very well. Our man Craig Filer will be very, very happy with that. He's the under 19s and under 21s coach, but he does oversee particularly the under 17s team, and it's a good start. But not all of the divisions have got these teams. There are some divisions where there aren't, like in the under 16s, for example. But that's good to see the junior boys back on the park, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And good luck to everyone, players and parents who are involved in those fixtures this Sunday. I think the weather's looking pretty nice for it too. So hopefully everyone really enjoys their junior football on Sunday with those games coming up.
Now let's turn our attention to the A-League, mate. The A-League, we've got some great games this weekend.
I've almost forgotten the A-League with the NPL coming back this weekend,
everything
mate.
Happening, isn't that right? We'll talk about the big derby on Saturday night, but let's start from tonight's game. No one really cares about this game, do they? Because all eyes are on NPL Victoria, but let's nonetheless go through some of these games. The big one over in Perth at HBF Park. Perth
and good to see Perth hosting home games as well. Again, it's been a long time between drinks with him being on the road. So Brisbane Roar making the long trip across there. Who do you think will get up there tonight?
It's Brisbane Roar have in recent weeks been sort of a little bit topsy-turvy. I think Perth Glory, they haven't played a lot of games. They're itching to play. They'll be at home. Mate, I think they're going to do quite well in this particular one. What about yourself, mate? Who do you think will?
I think the Shed might almost get them over the line there for Perth, but Brisbane, they're probably good enough. I think a draw for that one would be my prediction. The next game is tomorrow at 5:05. That would be the ABC TV game, if I'm not mistaken, as well. That's Sydney Wanderers against Adelaide United at that great stadium up there in Parramatta Bank West. That should be an interesting occasion there as well.
Look, Western Sydney are currently on 13 points. Adelaide United on 10 points. It's pretty close there.
Can we call that game the James Troisi Derby, perhaps?
The James Troisi Derby, I like that. I do like that, yep. So there'll obviously be a little bit of, it'll be an interesting game, no doubt, for that reason. But the big one will be the Victorian Derby, do you want to call it the Melbourne Derby? The Victorian Derby.
It's also been dubbed the Battle of the Bridge again as well, which I presume they're referring to the Westgate or not the Balti. So that game, I was at that same fixture only about 3 weeks ago. So it's probably suffering from the fact that there's not a lot of amnesia and the fact that result was so recent, and that was certainly a VAR-affected result, that one too. So Melbourne Victory, they got the win against the Phoenix the other night. So their confidence, might be on the rise, but they have been hard hit by injuries. And speaking of confidence, Western United shouldn't be short on confidence after their 4-1 win in Ballarat over Macarthur last Saturday, which was a really good performance by Western United.
Yeah, now if you look at the ladder, Western United are in 10th position with 8 points. Melbourne Victory in 11th position with 7 points. However, Western United does have 2 games in hand on Victory and 3 games in hand on Central Coast, the leaders at the moment. So look, 3 wins in 3 games would see them firmly catapulted up into possibly as high as 2nd position. So, it's not a big thing at the moment, but you were there in Ballarat last week, Steve, to see another amazing performance by Alessandro Diamanti. But mate, how was your experience? And at what's it called? Eureka Stadium, is it? Is that what it's called up in Ballarat?
What is it now? Mars. If we're allowed to mention
Stadium,
corporate
correct.
sponsors.
Mars.
Mars
If we get something out of them.
Mars Stadium, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the good people if they'll give us any chocolate bars. Yeah, it was a little bit of a slow first 15 or 20 minutes, and then the player that really turned it on was the Basque player there for West United midfield, Iker Gorachena. He scored that long-range goal, which was given goal of the week, and then also he showed the futsal skills in a little piece of artistry where he was unfortunate to score his second of the match, but the ricochet off the post fell to Barisha to score a milestone goal for Besart Barisha. So it was certainly coming of age in green and black for Ika Gorachena. So especially after you guys were chatting about futsal on the show this time last week as well. Yep. It was very, very timely.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great episode last week where we had Football Victoria's new head of futsal, Anthony Grimmer, and it is certainly indeed a sport that has got great potential, and really looking forward to how that's going to develop. But before we turn our attention to that, let's turn our attention to Sunday's games. There's a New South Wales doubleheader there. Firstly, Sydney FC taking on Macarthur FC, then Newcastle Jets taking on Wellington Phoenix. Sydney FC will be very, very keen after going down midweek to Melbourne City. Macarthur, on the other hand, they're just 4 points off the pace. They're in third position. They've played the same amount of games as Central Coast, but they are 4 points behind the Central Coast. So in effect, it's one of those things where you call it a 6-point game. Both sides need a win badly, and that'll be quite an entertaining game, no doubt. And then the big one, Newcastle Jets against Wellington Phoenix. I say big one because, Wellington Phoenix are firmly on the bottom of the ladder at the moment. They need to win. They need to start winning. But Newcastle Jets as well, look, they're currently in 6th spot. They've played 9 games with 11 points. Adelaide United, 1 game less, 1 point behind them. Perth Glory, 4 games less, just 2 points behind them. So there's a lot of teams just biting the Jets' rear end at the moment, trying to get their foot into the top 6. So this is a game that the Jets really, really need to win.
It is. Yeah, they. I suppose if you looked at the expectations at the start of the season, they were the team that was going through a really adverse set of circumstances and tipped to be on the bottom. So they've overperformed what everyone expected them to do. Will they sort of level out a little bit now after that early season flurry? They players like Valentino Yule just coming off not getting a game for Western United, just popping up and scoring goals for fun almost. Who knows what's going to happen there? Only time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on Tuesday we've got, well, it's not a double header because one game's being played in Sydney. The other one is being played across the country. Western Sydney Wanderers at home to another Victorian club, Melbourne City. Should be a good game, that one up there at Bankwest Stadium. And then Perth Glory at home to the table toppers, Central Coast Mariners. Now, that would be an interesting game, Steve, to see how Central Coast are when they have to travel, number one, but also Perth Glory, are they the real deal? Because they've got some 2 important games against Raw tonight, and then they front up against the Central Coast Mariners. So two top 2 sides in the next 4 days. So it's going to be a big test for the Glory.
It is, yeah. Richie Garcia's team they'll be keen to get a win at home. If they can't get a win tonight, definitely they're going to be very hungry come Tuesday night. And if they can set the right tempo, they might be able to get the job done over the Mariners, who maybe haven't done as much travelling. It might be a shock to the system for some of these clubs that don't really have to leave the great state, as they call it up there, of New South Wales. But Tuesday night double header, that's something a bit different. Maybe people will be just skipping on their football training on Tuesday night and just strapping themselves into the couch on Foxtel or KO and enjoying a pretty intriguing doubleheader of matches there. I'm looking forward to seeing how those games turn out on Tuesday night. And it's good at the moment as well. You can just about find football on not every night of the week, but certainly.
Oh, have we lost Steve? Seems to have lost. We may have lost Steve.
When the coverage isn't butchered or anything like that. So hopefully our production values are matching the production values of the Thursday Night W League of the moment, at least.
Yeah. Now, mate, we on the line. We've got Bryce Ruthven, who's going to be coming to us live from the JL Murphy Reserve. We're going to bring the man on straight away because he has been itching to come on, and there he is. Bryce is there. Bryce, can you hear us?
Loud and clear, boys. How are we on a Friday evening? Beautiful night here at Port Melbourne Football Club, and NPL Victoria 2021 officially kicks off tonight.
It looks absolutely splendid there, mate. Is there many people rocked up yet for this fixture? I can't see anyone in the background, but I'm sure if we pan the camera around, there's a whole lot of people in the club rooms lining up for Suvalakis.
Because of the sun, but obviously the old folks down here at the club getting a quick feed in, a couple of beers, and keen for some great action between Port Melbourne Sharks and the Melbourne Knights.
Mate, we can tell in your voice you're excited, just as we are. We're jumping out of our skin at the prospect of a new season. It's been way too long. What's the general feel there amongst the players, officials, some of the fans that have rocked in? Is there a lot of nervousness, or is there a lot of excitement in the air?
Well, the boys at the front gate let me straight in. They even let me drive in, so that's a great start to a Friday night. But everyone's keen.
Winner, chicken dinner.
That's unheard of at Port Melbourne. Normally, you've got to park down the road a couple of blocks.
We love coming to Shark Park, as we call it. It's a bit of a shark tank sometimes. But good start for us as commentators. And obviously, a lot of changes to both sides. Adam Pittock, he's made a few new signings. Ben Litfin, a big one coming across from Altona Magic for Port Melbourne. But look, obviously being a Football West show, we're going to focus on the Melbourne Knights. And they've had a pretty big turnover. If you look at their roster for 2021, 12 players left the COVID 20 season. And they've signed 10 new signings, obviously promoting a few youth players as well. You remember back before COVID hit, we don't like that C word here in Victoria, but obviously we got a few games out last year, and Melbourne Knights did really struggle in the opening round. So
they did.
It'll be interesting to see if their new coach, Steve Bebic, can introduce the new signings and if they can go home back to Knights Stadium with 3 points.
And what sort of style of football are we expecting from Steve Bebic? Do we know much about that, given he's got some, he has got some good signings, bringing in a good defender in Aidan Bryce, young boy from, if we can call him young, from North Geelong Warriors in Lockie Weir, the left back there. They got a new keeper in Thomas Manos, and the two Trevors as well look pretty exciting.
Yeah, and that's spot on. They've got some great experience. They've brought in 4 boys have come across from sister club Adelaide, Croatia. So that is Alan Webb, Trevor Sasmakula, Mohammed Samala, and Trezor Swazella. I probably said all those names wrong or slightly correct, but sorry, boys, we'll get that right for the commentary tonight. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm very curious to see how the Knights actually do line up and what style of football they do play, because they are known to be one of those sides that does get quite physical and play a bit of the long ball game at times to sort of get teams on the transition. Of course, Hamish Watson, no longer part of the squad. He's a big out, plus Joey Franich, the two big names who have left. Look, a bit disappointed to see Joey Franich leave the Knights. He's obviously a Knights boy through and through, a former captain of the club as well. So there's obviously a bit of a leadership hole missing there, and Steve Bebic has some hard decisions to make tonight.
Joey, our colleague Joey Lynch, on a recent, I think it was just yesterday, along with Greg Blake and Michael Zapponi, they produced a season preview for the NPL Victoria and Football Victoria websites, and that's available on YouTube or on their Facebook pages. But Joey singled out one of the new recruits for the Melbourne Knights, Trevor Zwetsloot, who is apparently a former New Zealand youth international, and he comes from the Werder Bremen academy in the Bundesliga. Mate, do we know much about this guy? He's got all the credentials to be the gold medal player of the year several months in advance.
And obviously when Joey Guest made his move to Oakley Cannons, there was a lot of buzz around him and a lot of hype. And look, the man that you just mentioned has the same sort of hype as well. So I guess with hype comes expectation and pressure on his shoulders. So I'm looking forward to it. I know my co-commentator tonight, Ed Gooden, he's also looking forward to seeing him play because, as you said, Werder Bremen over in Germany, it's a good stable house with some talent. And look, we won't hold it against him. He's coming across the ditch. So
just hold that. Hang on a sec. Did we hear correctly? Ed Gooden? Ed Gooden from the old Football Nation radio days, one of our good mates there, and he's going to be doing the co-commentating with you, is he?
Yeah, and he's actually, believe it or not, just rocked up on my shoulder, so we'll bring him because I know
that is the biggest signing, I reckon, of the off-season. There's Ed, and a hello and a welcome to the Football Out West show, and a return to Ed Gooden. How are you, Ed?
Hello, Tonchi. Is that the wonderful Steve Curtin there as well?
Good evening. Good evening, Ed. It's Good to see your face again. I think last time we caught up, we're actually at this very venue.
We were here.
And I talked up the Suvalakis maybe a little bit too much.
No.
And then I left myself disappointed. But have you been inside to check out how the kitchen's looking and if they've still got the chips inside?
I haven't been inside. I've been intimidated by the large group of Port Melbourne Sharks supporters that are just lurking around the Suvalaki stand. I feel like you have to earn the right to buy Suvalaki at this venue. So I'm going to wait.
Just say, Ed, just say that you know Josh Parrish and he is the NPL Food Safari King. And you will get VIP treatment in much the same way that Bryce Rutherford got at the gates there at Shark Park.
They'll probably put all the food away because they know Josh is a very, very mean critic when it comes to the food.
I guess you've got to.
Skinny,
yeah.
And how does he remain so skinny when all he does is dream, sleep, think about food? On me. Yeah.
He exercises like a madman, just like Steve Curtin. Steve, not to bring the topic too, focused on yourself. I know this is Tonchi's show through and through, but you on Twitter have been killing it athletically.
Oh, no.
You're very kind.
You have, Steve.
Very kind, Ed. Look, we've just pulled up a bit sore at the moment. So this weekend we're just leaving the runners in the cupboard and just focusing on the NPL kickoff and enjoying some of that fantastic NPL food. We're looking forward to a Chivapi roll at St Albans on Sunday evening. It's going to be great.
Answer that like a true professional, Steve. All credit to the boys. Just looking forward to next week. Not focused.
It's 1 week at a time, mate. 1 week at a time. We've still got a long season to go ahead of us.
Yeah.
Now, gentlemen, Ed and Bryce, so I'm going to get you both guys on the screen. Firstly, Ed, over to you. Your tips for tonight. Who do you think will perform better? I know it's probably hard to say, like pick a score, but which team do you expect to do better out of the two combatants tonight?
I think I was at a Port Melbourne Oakley friendly last week, and I think before watching that game, I would have said Melbourne Knights through and through. Like this will be a pretty convincing victory, but Port looked very good, and based on how good Oakley were at the start of last season and they will be this season, I think Port Melbourne are going to surprise a few people. So I think Knights probably still will win, but I think it'll be a lot closer than a lot of people are expecting it to be.
Okay, excellent.
And
Bryce, what
do we think Port can make up for the loss of one of our NPL favourites, Yuta Konagaya?
Well, they've made a new signing. He's Su Boem, a Korean who's... I was trying to do a little bit of research on him before the game, but I just can't find any information.
He's an unknown quantity at the moment.
He is. He's unknown, but he looked fantastic in the friendly. He's got a wonderful lock of long hair, which stands out really, really nicely. So he'll be easy to spot, both by his hair and by his on-field talents.
So a commentator's favourite from the get-go by the sound of it. That's perfect.
Spot on for us.
Bryce, you're...
So.
Yeah, Bryce, we'll bring you into the screen. Ed just seems to be hogging all the limelight. But Bryce, your turn now. Who are you tipping to do better out of the two teams tonight?
Yeah, I'm a bit with Ed. I'm sort of leaning towards Port Melbourne at home. I think Adam Pittock's a great young coach, obviously a fellow Queenslander as well. So you sort of stick with your fellow Queenslanders at the time there. But look, Melbourne Knights, they have got some good signings. So you do expect big things, but you go back to how they started their form last year. And I did hear the Night Train during a week on FNR where they were saying that they've had a long pre-season. Now, this is going to be the big thing for all clubs in round one. How have they handled a COVID pre-season? Because when's the time to hit your peak form coming to round one? Is it straight from the get-go, or do you work your way in? So I know a lot of these clubs have had a lot of pre-season games, and from all rumours and reports that Melbourne Knights have had a good pre-season. So we'll have to wait and see, because tonight's where all the business comes out.
Well, I guess they've all had a good preseason. They've had a 12-month preseason. So absolutely right. You guys are spot on. It is going to be an excellent game. We cannot wait. Mate, how can we watch the game? How can people tune in to tonight's live broadcast?
Well, thanks to Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's up and running again, I believe.
It's back.
So it's back, baby. We're all on Facebook on the NPL.
Especially for the NPL.
Exactly. And the YouTube as well, as Ed just said. So keep an eye on that. And, of course, you
Is it true there's...
Yeah, we're excited to hear the comments for tonight's game. I feel like everyone's a little bit more switched on to the live stream now. They kind of know how it works a little bit more.
Yeah.
So if you just want to have a conversation with us,
Yeah.
please feel free. Just have a chat.
We love banter.
Have a chat. And you promise you'll read them all out, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Majority, of them, depending how nice they are.
More creative the username, the better, I would say as well.
Now, Bryce, we did swear we weren't going to talk too much about that other celebrity thing, but mate, how is and ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't recognised Bryce, he's one of the contestants on a reality show. We'll call it that. But there is another person on the same reality show who appeared on our program last year, Jake Edwards, who's from outside the locker room. So, mate, if you guys come across each other, you guys have got something in common, and it's not about trying to find a wife. It's about the fact that you both appeared on the Football Out West show. How good is
Clearly
that?
the program
Yeah,
as
this
well.
show is definitely the stable house of Married at First Sight. Well done, John.
Ed, watch yourself. You could be next.
Yeah, it's the form line that no one predicted ever.
Yeah. Like the fact that not the name of the show. This is famously a direct competitor to that show, so I'm glad we're not talking about it too much.
And look, stream anytime you want, and there's no strings attached. So by all means, join NPL Victoria.
No strings attached. One of my favorite Justin Timberlake movies. Just a shout out to. I think Ashton Kutcher was involved as well. So look, we won't digress too far off the important topic, which is NPL football.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all about the football team, boys, not married life.
That's right. Good on you guys. Great to talk to you, and we look forward to seeing you throughout the season, and all the best for tonight's call.
We look forward to it, boys. We'll see you at 7:45.
Have a great call, guys.
Will do. Absolutely. Yep. Bryce Ruthven and Ed Gooden, our good mate from the old Football Nation radio days, absolutely fantastic. When we implore all our viewers, once they finished here, grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a beer, order a takeaway, whatever the case may be. Friday Night Football is back, Steve, and no better time than tonight when we've got, well, two massive games. Obviously, the Port Melbourne Sharks and Melbourne Knights game at 7:45, and then 8:30, the big Dandenong Derby, Dandenong Thunder versus Dandenong City. So actually, we'll bring up that the fixtures there. There's the fixture list. So we went through all of those games for tonight. Absolutely cannot wait. It's going to be a great season. Mate, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We really do appreciate it. Don't go away. We're going to be back very, very shortly. There's a couple of messages from some of our sponsors. So don't go away. When we come back, we'll be there to wrap it up.
Are you opening a new business or want to improve your current exposure to drive more customers? Then talk to our team at Principal Signs. We have over 30 years' experience of helping businesses like yours stand out from the crowd. We can design, manufacture and install a range of signs, either permanent or temporary, at an affordable price without compromising on quality. A signage supplier with a reliable reputation. You can trust the team at Principal Signs to ensure that you make the best decision for your business and your budget. We are passionate about giving you a standout experience in customer service and ensure that we exceed your expectations every time. For more information, find us on Facebook or check out our testimonials and work examples on www.principalsigns.com.au or call Ray on 0406 728873 for a quote. Mention this ad for a 10% discount off your first order.
Hands for Hire is a free platform that connects people looking for more work in their downtime and also businesses who want to list jobs on a casual basis. Are you finding that you have spare time and could actually be earning extra money? Or do you need a hand on a casual basis and don't want to employ a full-time worker? Hands for Hire is the app to help you fill that time yourself without paying huge fees to recruiting agents or labour hire companies. Signing up is completely free, without any obligation.
Welcome back to the Football Out West show, Steve. Time is ticking. We're almost approaching full time, but it is, once again, we cannot reiterate just how important how great it is to have football back. And, mate, thank you very much for joining us on tonight's show. Craig will be back next week, unfortunately. But it is going to be our 50th episode, episode. So hopefully we may even have you involved in some way next week. But yeah, it's been a great ride. And the Geelong Region Soccer Show, mate, looking at returning in mid-March. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So stay tuned for that one. Hopefully we'll be back as the around the same time as the State League and NPL 2 and NPL 3 seasons are kicking off on perhaps on Monday evenings. Just watch this space on that one, though. There's still just a couple of things to tick off before that one happens. So thank you very much, Tonchi, for having us on the show tonight. I hope I've been a competent replacement for the great man Craig, who no doubt he's lighting those candles for that birthday show next week. And thanks very much to our guests. We've had some great guests: Mike Sutton, Jason Zeri, Bryce Ruthven, and Ed Gooden. What a fantastic quartet that is. And everyone who's tuned in as well. We've had so many comments. I can't even keep up with them. Vladimir, Brenton, Maxi, Ante, Santino, Michael Ong, the list goes on and on. Vladimir, if I haven't said your name already, fantastic involvement in the comments. The comments have been going wild, and I'm sure the comments will be going wild in the NPL Vic games tonight on the Facebook streams. And yeah, that's it. Get yourself something nice to eat and a glass of something cold and cool refreshment. Sit yourself on the couch, cast those games onto your TV, and really enjoy some good local football from the comfort of your own home. Of course, if you can't get to those games tonight at Port Melbourne and down at Dandenong as well.
Absolutely. Next week's big 50th episode show. All the very, very best, and good night, and great to have NPL football back in town.
Good night.
Good night.